Hey, it's me, the Headless Horseman. You know what the worst part about not having a head is? It's that I don't have ears. And because I don't have ears, I can't listen to an episode of this podcast. Before we continue my first ever journey through the Harry Potter series, just a few quick announcements. First, if you live in Australia and you've missed my previous announcements, get ready because I'm doing live shows in Australia while I'm here on vacation in November of 2022. We're doing a live show in Sydney on the 7th. We're doing a show in Melbourne on the 23rd and another show in Melbourne on the 24th. The show in Sydney on the 7th is a joint Potterless and the Newest Olympian live show. The show on the 23rd in Melbourne is a Potterless show, and the show on the 24th in Melbourne is a The Newest Olympian show. You can get tickets to all three of these shows at thenewestolympian.com/live and get those tickets quickly before we potentially run out of tickets. I'm also trying to do shows in New Zealand when I'm there in December. Some stuff is in the works, so just make sure you are following Potterless on social media because I will post about those shows if and when they become a reality. Now, what are you going to listen to in this episode? This is a live show that we did in May of 2022 in Phoenix, Arizona. Not only do you have the audio that you can listen to here, but there's also a video component. If you go to our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/c/Potterless podcast, or just search for Potterless and we'll show up, you can see a video of the performance. They just had a single camera set up and they were kind enough to send me the video of it. So if you want to see what the video version of the show looked like, what I was wearing, the different hand motions and gestures I make when I talk, because I do that a lot and I'm doing it right now, you can see that on the YouTube channel. There's a bunch of other videos up on the YouTube channel if you haven't checked that out before. Recently, I've posted 2 behind-the-scenes tour vlogs from the 2021 shows that I've done. There's 2 of those videos up. They're very fun. I just kind of take a camera around with me when I'm on the shows and film things here and there, and it's been a blast to make those and put those up. Those are also on the Potterless YouTube channel.
If you've ever thought, my oh my, I wish that Mike Schubert would play some D&D on a live stream on a bi-weekly basis, and bi-weekly meaning every other week, not twice a week, with some fellow podcasters that he's done other things in the past with, plus one new one that he's not crossed over with, well, you are in luck. I will be joining up with the likes of Gabrielle Urbina, Emma Sherjarko, and Beth Eyre, 3 other wonderful podcast folks, to create a Dungeons & Dragons 5e stream that we are calling 20 to Midnight. It is going to be this wonderfully crafted world. Gabrielle is serving as our DM. The rest of us are the players, and we don't know exactly what the story entails quite yet, but we do know that there is a time crunch for our characters to save the world, hence the 20 to Midnight theme of it, and it's really exciting. So it's going to be on Twitch. If you go to 20tomidnight.com, so 20tomidnight.com, you can get all the links and the information there. But basically, it's going to be Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern every other week, and then the replays of the show will live on Twitch for as long as they let replays live, and then we'll also be putting them onto YouTube, and I think eventually we might make a podcast version of it if we get enough Patreon support. But go to 20tomidnight.com to check it all out, and I'm really excited to do it. Playing Dungeons & Dragons is something I've only done bits of here and there, so to be able to do it with some wonderfully nice human beings on a regular basis is going to be a blast.
Final thing before I go, as always, if you're looking for more Potterless bonus content, the Patreon content is still all available at patreon.com/Potterless. We have converted it over to be branded for my new podcast, The Newest Olympian, which is similar to Potterless, but about the Percy Jackson books. However, if you join the I just want the Potterless stuff tier, or any of the TNO tiers, you'll get access to every single Potterless post that was posted on Patreon for the 5 years that we made regular episodes. So you can check all that out at patreon.com/Potterless. But thank you for listening to this intro. Thank you for listening to this episode. And I hope you enjoy this very special live show episode where I was joined by my buddy Grant Raun, live in Phoenix, Arizona, as we tried to determine what the heck is the plot of Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery, covering the end of year 5 and the beginning of year 6 of the video game. Enjoy!
Oh, what's good, everybody? Hello! Thank you so much for coming out. I really appreciate it. And let's go! Let's go! Come on, let's go! Hey, make some noise, make some noise! All right. How's it going, Phoenix, Arizona? I've learned that one of my money guns was out of batteries. I guess I got too hype the last time I did this. It's the heat. Oh, but it's a dry heat. So, I did unironically talk about that today with my buddy who's going to be on stage soon. But hello. Thank you so much for coming out. I'm very excited to be here. Excited to be back in Phoenix. Was anyone here the last time I did a live show in Phoenix? All right. Thank you. I was here in January of 2020. Remember when the world was different? For my bachelor party, which was very fun. That was before the bachelor party. Then we had the fun bachelor party. I love Phoenix a lot. I was very happy to be able to return and to do something very important, which is try to figure out what the hell is the plot of Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery. Now, I cannot do this alone. I need someone to help me make sense of all of this. So I would love to welcome to the stage my buddy from college, Grant Raun. Grant, come on out!
Hello.
Hello.
What up?
How's it going?
I'm really sorry about the other gun.
Oh, it's okay. We'll figure it out. I can get new batteries. It's fine.
right.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. I haven't seen you in 3 minutes.
I was actually over there watching you, so it's been sort of an unbroken stream for me.
Now, you are a new voice/face to the Potterless universe.
That's
so
true.
I get to do the rare thing, which is what I would normally do for new guests, which is ask what your history is with Harry Potter. So, what's your history with Harry Potter?
My history with Harry Potter. I mean, I think I was an obsessive book fan for the first 15, 20 years of my life. I like the movies. I don't watch them every year like everybody else does, but I was saying to you backstage, I feel like I know more about Harry Potter than the average person. Do I know more about Harry Potter than the average person in this specific room? That is a question I'm not sure about.
That is okay, because for today, you don't need to know about Harry Potter. You just need to not know about Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery.
And I sure don't.
And you sure don't. I will say, before we get into it, that when I was trying to figure out who I could have join me here on stage for the show, I did search your old tweets to see if you ever tweeted about Harry Potter. So before we get into this, I just would like to address searching for your Twitter and then just searching for the word Potter.
Okay.
So the first one, you said, this was July 14th, 2011.
Oh, it's going to be so good. I was super funny then. So.
Honestly, not all that broken up about missing Harry Potter. The story's been over for a while.
Oh.
Was this like...
It was a movie tweet. It was a movie tweet.
Was this between movies 7 and 8?
It was because I was going to camp when the 7th movie was coming out, and I wanted everybody to know, like, I don't care. Like, I'm going to be at camp. Like, camp's going to be really fun.
Now, the other tweet I would like to point out is my favorite, which is dunking on J.K. Rowling. I don't know what this was in reference to, because it was in a thread before Twitter threads existed.
Yeah.
But you did say old J.K. knew this, which is why old J.K. gave us Harry Potter and new J.K. gave us Casual Vacancy, which is one of the bad,
It got actually
Robert
so much
Galbraith
worse
ones.
after Casual Vacancy. it really continued downhill.
You also, then the final one that I would like to talk here, is in reference to the Houston Rockets, your favorite basketball team, you said, quote, "I will be the one to kill Harry Potter, Kobe Bryant."
The Rockets and the Lakers were playing in the playoffs. So he warned me this was going to do this, and he was going to do this. And none of those tweets have any likes. And I swear I do get likes on Twitter every once in a while. And those are just particularly bad.
Some of them have 2 likes. Don't be
So if
too
you've
hard
ever
on
gotten
yourself.
a like on a Harry Potter tweet, like, you're actually more qualified to do this job than I currently am.
It's okay. Today is a fun reverse version of Potterless, where I am the expert in that I know what's going on in Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery. And when I say that, what I actually mean is I played the first couple of years all the way through on the phone, and then it just got too much to handle. So shout out to BlueMoonGame.com, who has walkthroughs of everything. So I've read the walkthroughs and prepared notes based off of them. And we're going to go through year 5 and year 6 question mark to see how much we can get done. But let me tell you guys, it's a mess. Has anyone here, by show of hands, has anyone played the Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery game? Okay, cool. And then I like the one person said, I tried. Is there anyone out there, I'm assuming everyone else has not played it at all? Don't worry, we're all on the same page. Because playing it, you still have no idea what's going on. Now, where we're picking up here is partway through year 5. What is going on in the plot? So you've played none of the games at all, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, it takes place in the past. You are a student, like, when Harry is born. So, like, Voldemort, like, first tried the baby attack on Harry. So you're, like, Tonks is one of your classmates. Charlie Weasley is one of your classmates. Bill's a couple years older than you. That kind of age range.
Okay.
So
it's still, like, it's a wizard school.
Still Hogwarts.
Okay.
It's the 80s. And
That sounds
you
good.
weirdly share a lot of, like, main character similarities with Harry Potter, even though you are distinctly not Harry Potter. Like your Bogart is Voldemort, even though you have no beef with Voldemort.
He's a scary guy. He looks like a snake.
Snape still hates you for some reason.
I compared him to Kobe Bryant once, which that's a bad comparison.
So what happens in the game is that you always have to defeat a cursed vault. There are these vaults that have evil magic that cause some sort of curse throughout the school, and you need to get to the bottom of them and figure out what's going on. So the current curse in year 5 is that portraits in the school are sucking students into them.
That seems really bad.
Yeah, it's super bad.
Are we sure about this?
It is some scary stuff. It's like the worst version of blue Ska-dooing you could ever imagine. And that is what we're currently trying to solve here. So where we last left off, really going along with you're basically just Harry Potter in this game, Snape is teaching you legilimency because you are prepping to talk to Madame Rakepick, the most suspicious professor in the world. And you want to talk to her about Jacob, your long-lost missing older brother, who was expelled from Hogwarts for unleashing the cursed vaults.
Oh.
He unleashed the first cursed vault, or at least was pegged for doing it. And you're going to try to talk to Madame Rakepick, and then through legilimency, see if she has any sort of like memories about it, and then see what's going on. That's where we're at.
How much older than me is me, the character in this game?
Yes, of course.
How much older is Snape than I am?
I guess Snape would be in his 30s at this point.
Oh, okay.
Or he's in his late 30s with Harry, so I guess he's in his late 20s.
All right.
Snape's like my age beefing with a 14-year-old.
It's weird. The older we get, the weirder it is.
It's super weird. Yeah, terrifying. I can't imagine like having so much disdain for a teenager beyond like, oh, they're just a teenager, that I would like actively beef with them. Because it would just be like, oh, you're 15. Yes, we were all stupid when we were 15. That's fine. Have your bad opinions. Wear your extremely baggy jeans. Go for it, Gen Z. Have a good time. You'll learn. We all did together. So, on top of all of this, you're still trying to find a portrait of cursed vaults so that you can go into that portrait and stop the cursed vaults from cursing the portraits.
All right.
Yeah, we're 9 minutes into the show. No one knows what's happening. Good job, me.
Yeah, no idea.
All right, don't worry. We're going to make more sense of it. Here we go. So, you've had your legilimency lesson with Snape, and now you are trying to control it. Well, how do you control it? You practice it on your friends.
That's really bad, right?
Super terrible. Just infiltrating the mind of your closest friends.
I remember what legilimency is, right?
Yes.
Like, okay, cool.
See in their brain things that they don't want you to see. You practice on your friends.
All right.
You keep doing this so that you can hopefully be good enough to try it on Madame Rakepick. Then you go to Madame Rakepick, you try to pick her brain, and it doesn't work because she's very good at occlumency.
Okay.
So she shields her mind from your legilimency attack. So then you're hanging out with your friends in the courtyard, who are somehow still friends with you after you have infiltrated their most personal thoughts. And your best friend, Rowan, gets possessed by a mysterious dark wizard, and then he starts to attack you.
I wonder who it is.
It is a mysterious dark wizard.
Okay, yeah.
We've run into a mysterious dark wizard. There's this person that we think is involved. If they are not the Dark Wizard, they are known as the letter R, which makes Madame Rakepick, whose last name starts with an R, very suspicious. Yet she's still employed by the school because it's Hogwarts, and why would they ever fire anybody?
I'm starting to get hung up on this, but was it non-consensual when you did legilimency on the...
So I think when you do it on your friends, it's like, hey, I need to practice. And they go, okay, sure. But on Madame Rakepick, you try to sneak it while you talk to her.
Okay, all right,
But then she knows what you're doing because you're 15 years old, and there's no way you're going to be able to sneak that.
Sure.
Because you are Harry Potter, you are as smooth as Harry Potter, which is to say, not smooth at all. Okay. You are chunky peanut butter. You're not smooth at all. So, the mysterious dark wizard possesses Rowan. Rowan attacks you, but Ben, who is your friend that is terrified of everything, kind of like a Neville stand-in, but even more scared of everything, and I personally don't trust Ben.
Okay.
Because no one's that scared of everything.
All right.
He defends you, and the rest of your friends, no one else gets hurt, everything's okay. Rowan, though, is recovering in the hospital wing from, being possessed, and you go visit Rowan. You find out that he was under the influence of the Imperious Curse, which makes sense. Yeah.
Because he was possessed.
Right?
Yeah, okay.
It's fun that in the game you have to determine this, which I feel like is pretty obvious since it's the one curse that possesses people. But anyway,
What is the mechanic of this game? Like, how am I possessing people?
you're not doing any of the possessing. Your friend just gets possessed by someone evil.
Okay, great.
It's very much just like a tap to do stuff game.
Okay.
There are
Tap
some like
to read minds, tap to.
yeah, yeah, pretty much. It's like an RPG, except none of your choices actually matter. So it's a very
We've all played that.
railroaded.
You know what? I was gonna say something, but those games are great.
It's a railroaded RPG. So you're in the hospital wing, you figure this out, and afterwards you meet with Madame Rakepick in Nocturne Alley, where she demonstrates using the Cruciatus Curse on people in Nocturne Alley.
I don't think she should be doing that.
No, probably not. You talk to the sketchiest person in the sketchiest part of town, and she does the sketchiest spell.
Okay.
It's just a bad situation for you, a 15-year-old human being, to be in. So you are, as the character, very shocked, and you say no when Rakepick wants to teach you to do it, which is good. Like, your head's in the right spot. She goes, do you want to learn this thing you're not supposed to do? And you go, no, thank you, which is great.
Yeah.
So whatever, like, wizard version of D.A.R.E is, like, I guess, like, it's not like say no to drugs. It's say no to people wanting you to use the Cruciatus Curse on people.
Yeah, so I'm picking up that it's like, one, the names are worse than the books. 100% names are worse all around.
Yeah.
But we're still just like putting kids in danger just at all turns.
I mean, it is Hogwarts.
Yeah,
so
that's like part of the brand.
Yeah, it's still true to form.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the next day, you're trying to find Madame Rakepick, I guess to like try to legilimency her again. You then encounter, and it's funny at this point because it's in the past, Percy Weasley's pet rat, Scabbers.
Oh, I know who that is.
And much to you as the character's surprise, but not you as the player's surprise, Scabbers turns out to be an animagus named Peter Pettigrew.
Wow.
Whoa! Now, you might be thinking, wait a second. If you determined this, how did no one know that Scabbers was Peter Pettigrew later? Well, after you realize this and you talk with Peter Pettigrew, he uses a memory charm on you so that you forget everything that just happened. Just the game got a retcon. Like, I like that the game, they introduce this ridiculous thing that would break all of the plot, and then they just immediately retcon it 5 seconds later.
Yeah, I just feel like, is this a cameo for Peter Pettigrew? Like, who was like, oh, I need to play this game so I can see the new Peter Pettigrew? Like, it just, like, new Pettigrew just dropped. He's my favorite character.
I don't know. Maybe because since I wasn't playing the game, I don't know if they're hyping stuff up like next time on Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery, Peter Pettigrew's back. And then also he will be gone in 5 seconds.
I gotta say, like, I know we're making fun of it. I'm sold. I'm gonna download this later. You should have told me about this way before.
Well, now you can play it and then we'll do another show together and then you can be the expert and then I'll be the confused one. So, Madame Rakepick hears your conversation with Peter Pettigrew, and she deduces that Peeves has the vault portrait. Now, I have not played the game. I'm assuming your conversation is about vaults. Otherwise, this would make no sense at all. It would be wild for you to be like, oh, hey, fun fact, I'm a rat that's actually a person. And then Madame Rakepick goes, I bet Peeves has the cursed vault portrait. So I would assume you ask him if he knows what's going on, but who's to say?
Okay.
So now you have to find Peeves. So you visit all of the common rooms to talk to each of the house ghosts to see if they know where Peeves is.
Classic.
You also then talk to Professor Binns, the other ghost person that we know at the school, to see if he has any sort of advice about Peeves and poltergeists in general. You then visit the prefect's bathroom to talk to Duncan Ash and ask him for help. I don't know why. But of all the people, he becomes the most helpful. He agrees to help set up a meeting with Peeves. I don't know why Duncan Ash is there. I don't know why you met him in the bathroom. But he helps you get to Peeves the poltergeist.
It's a good name, which we need more of. So
Duncan Ash?
We're bringing the good names. Yeah, we need more of that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So then you have to win over the favor of Peeves before he will talk to you, because he's like a god king now. So you have to prank a bunch of people in the school to win favor of Peeves. You do a bunch of pranks. It does not impress him enough.
Oh, no.
So you need to do grand mischief in order to satisfy Peeves so that he will give you the portrait.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Now, the grand mischief that you do is you and your friend Bedea invent a spell for the perfect mischief.
That's really hard, right?
It's very challenging.
Okay.
I think only Snape did that.
All right,
like, of
great.
people that we met, it's Snape. And I think that's it. Probably Dumbledore at some point in time. But you invent a spell that is perfect for mischief. If you are going to make a mischievous spell, what would you go for?
Like word-wise, or just like what does it do?
If you were going to make some sort of mischievous spell, like if you were going to do the cool prank.
Like, I don't, I'm so bad at this. And I could be like, you should just
I
take
would
it.
like.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe you could do, if you want to go like big prank, you could do some sort of like give everybody wedgies. Okay. That like you could go that route. I don't know if Hogwarts has water fountains, but you could like change all the water to be sparkling water, which is just objectively worse than still water.
So the best prank I pulled in college was
great.
A guy left. We were living in a suite, so it's like 6 of us, and there's a common room. And he left town for the weekend, and he left his door like unlocked. And so what we did was just move him out. But what's funny about that is all of the, like, we just moved a person. Like, that was what was hard, and that was what was funny. And if there was a spell, like, that would be ruined. Like,
That's good.
I think introducing spells into mischief, I'm just against it. That's
you go.
my new position.
There you go. Well, you might enjoy this, though, because I don't know what this spell does, but it doesn't sound mischievous. You invent a spell called the Star Shower Spell. Has anyone played this far in the game? Okay, cool. No, I'm sorry, what did you say? Just a big emphatic no.
Definitely
good.
no.
Okay, a lot of head shaking and then
some
one
people
emphatic.
who like didn't play it, but it's not a big thing.
I don't know how this is a prank. Like, you make a bunch of shooting stars appear in the sky? That sounds very cool, but not mischievous. I don't know. But you perform this, at least according to the review, the person who wrote this recap, the mischievous masterpiece that leaves Peeves impressed. And he hands you the portrait of the vault. So there you go. Hooray. You take this vault portrait, you give it to Madame Rakepick. For some reason, she's clearly the most suspicious person here. You're like, here, Madame Rakepick, the evil thing. So you give it to her, and then somehow, with this conversation with her, you deduce that a dragon is most likely guarding the next cursed vault. There's always something that guards the cursed vault, but it's usually thematic. In year 2, the curse was that evil ice was like freezing things and people throughout the school. So you figure, okay, it's probably some sort of snow creature. And then it was these ice knights, like these knights made out of ice. And I don't understand why, if it's portrait related, why is it not like evil Picasso? Why is a dragon the obvious guardian?
I feel like Rembrandt would be a good boss fight.
What would?
Rembrandt?
Oh, Rembrandt. Yes.
Like he just pays attention to detail, and so I feel like it would be. I think it would be hard to get him,
Oh, this is why we have you, art person. Whereas me, I was an engineer, and I was like, oh yeah, Rembrandt, toothpaste? No, got it. Never mind. The artist. I think the Rembrandt's got a museum in Amsterdam, right? I think I like power walked through that one.
We're getting out of both of our depths, and I feel like at least with Harry Potter, like
we kind of know a little bit. Right. So you give this over to Rakepick. You figure out it's probably a dragon. So because of that, you need to learn about dragons. So who do you talk to? Bill Weasley. What? There's one Dragon Weasley, and you don't talk to Charlie? You talk to Bill? Like, close, but no. Like, you almost had it. You talk to Bill and Marula, who is like, Marula is your version of Draco, but as the years have gone on, she has become more and more of your friend, which is like the redemption arc that Draco never had kind of thing. So you talk to Bill and Marula, of all people, to learn about dragons. Cool. I don't understand.
Are we... Like, I assume there's a little bit of a spark there? Or
yes.
Like, all right, great.
Yeah. There's a couple different people that you can romance in the game, and Marula is one of them. Same. And it's very like, hey, Arnold, Helga Pataki kind of, we hate each other, but we love each other secretly vibe.
It was going on with Harry and Draco. We just didn't say anything.
Yeah, but Draco was dating the apple. So you choose one of your friends to accompany you, and I would hope, I haven't played the game, but there's different points in the RPG where you can bring a friend along. I would hope the reason you don't talk to Charlie is that Charlie is one of the options to bring along. So I'm going to give the game the benefit of the doubt, but if Charlie's not an option, awful.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I think we should definitely give it the benefit of the doubt.
So You learn that the vault portrait is also a port key that is set to activate, which will be the way to get into the cursed vault. So you grab the portrait and that will teleport you into the cursed vault. So I guess it's not inside of the portrait, it's somewhere else. I don't know. It's the game. You gotta just yes and roll with it here. So you get into the portrait vault together with your friends, and it is, in fact, guarded by a dragon. It is guarded by a Hungarian horntail, but thanks to your training and the help of your friends, you're able to defeat it and break the portrait curse. I remember this happening, and I did play this part because Kelly, my wonderful wife, was still playing at this point, and she is still playing the game, but she only does the side missions now, not the main plot. Because the side missions are time sensitive, and then she goes, oh, well, I should do this one first. And then there's always another side mission, because that's how the game works. It's one of those games that really wants you to pay to advance.
I see.
Yeah, so she falls for that, but doesn't give the money. She just gets angry at the game. I did have to help her with the dragon fight, because the dragon fight is really hard, and we had to look up strategies of how to do it, and I was able to figure out some stuff because I get very into video games, so I very much looked into how to defeat the dragon, and I was able to like deduce, because when you duel, it's just like fancy rock, paper, scissors.
Oh, okay.
You can choose three
But you're dueling with a dragon?
Yeah, you're dueling the dragon,
Okay, cool.
as you do. And what's funny is like you do like, oh, ridiculous, or you do, oh, impedimenta or whatever, and then the dragon bites you. Like that's, you have brought a wand to a tooth fight. Like it's very different. But you basically just play fancy rock, paper, scissors, where you can either do an aggressive spell, a defensive spell, or a tricky spell. And I figured out that you just want to do like lots of defensive spells, whatever. I made it work.
Cool.
I helped Kelly defeat the dragon. But then that's the last
Mike.
I've played of this game.
I'm like really proud of you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're so like so big.
Thank you. It was
Yeah.
a pretty big accomplishment.
Yeah.
It's funny. I started that just trying to like give context, and then halfway through I was like, am I bragging about
You
something?
were.
I'm glad you called me out.
Yeah,
Thank you.
100%.
I'm so glad you called
And
me out.
it was like I think it was worthy. Like it's something worth
Yeah, I'm gonna go home like Dear Diary. So, unfortunately, this victory is short-lived because moments after defeating the dragon, Madame Rakepick betrays you. What? No way! She betrays you and the rest of your friends, and you learn that she has been working with R all along. Now, maybe she still is R, but you at least learn she's evil, which was the most obvious thing ever. To make it even worse, though, she then starts using the Cruciatus Curse on Marula and says that she's going to kill her.
Wow.
I don't understand why.
I mean, it's bad.
Yes.
I'll tell you what.
Yes. Let it be known. Killing is bad.
Not good.
Grant Raun.
Torturing children. It's like better than killing them, but like we don't have to get into this.
But thankfully, you have quick thinking and you use the garroting gas that Professor Snape gave you, and you force Madame Rakepick to retreat. Cool.
Okay.
So you explore.
This seems really helpful.
Yeah.
The gas.
Yeah.
We should have had that around.
Yeah, maybe it's just like really stinky. I have no idea what's going on. So you explore the rest of the vault and you find your long lost brother Jacob. He's trapped in one of the portraits inside the cursed vault. So you are able to set your long lost brother Jacob free. You've been looking for him for 5 years. But he immediately leaves to go chase after Madame Rakepick, so you don't get to talk with Jacob. You discover, though, the clues to the final vault, and you escape with the rest of your friends using another port key. So now you have to go back to Hogwarts to see if the portrait-related curse where people are getting sucked into portraits is broken. Mm-hmm. So you and the rest of your friends return to Hogwarts, and you tell everything to Dumbledore, and you learn that the portrait curse did, in fact, get broken. All of the students who were trapped inside of portraits are now spit out of them, and they're all fine. And one of the people who was trapped was Penny's sister, Beatrice. Penny is one of your good friends.
Cool.
And her sister Beatrice is now free, but Marula is still recovering from the effects of, getting Cruciatus cursed by a professor at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
So she is in the hospital wing. You go, you talk with her. It seems like she's going to recover. Everything's going to be okay.
Is there any concern from the faculty about like the student that's been missing for 5 years and it turns out to have been like fallen into a painting that was in the school, so it's sort of the school's fault?
I think your brother got expelled and then went missing.
Oh, so Dumbledore's like, whatever, man.
Not our problem. Yeah, exactly.
We're good.
It's out of my hair. You got lost on your own terms, not mine. So you help your friend Ben find Madame Rakepick's Niffler, Sickleworth, pretty good name for a Niffler. You learn that Ben, who's afraid of everything, is going to try to have a change of heart. He wants to not be afraid of everything anymore. He's going to be a big old brave boy. Also,
Hey, don't we all?
yeah, we're all trying to get there.
I'd love not to be afraid of everything.
Also, Charlie tells you that the time has come to finally say goodbye to Bill Weasley because it's his 7th year and he's going to be graduating. So you already know that he's going to graduate and become a curse breaker at Gringotts Bank. And what Charlie wants you to do is keep Bill busy while he organizes a goodbye party for him and all of his friends at the Three Broomsticks. I already love Charlie a lot. We love him more. He seems perfect. Throwing a big surprise going away party for your brother? Yeah.
I'm sold on the game. 100%. Like, this sounds cool.
Great. I'm excited to see if you get super into it. So you keep Bill busy, and then you show up at the Three Broomsticks with Bill. You give him a proper farewell party. Unfortunately, during the party, Mad-Eye Moody shows up because got to get that character service in there. Mad-Eye Moody shows up. He apparates you away from the party, but you as the main character don't see what's going on. The perspective of the game stays at the Three Broomsticks.
Oh.
And then you come back hours later, and then your friends ask you, where did you go? And then you say, I've been sworn to secrecy by Mad-Eye Moody to not tell you where I was. So it's a rare instance where you, as the main character in your own RPG game, don't know what you just did.
Right. I invite you to see this as sort of like an avant-garde break from form, like sort of like a risk-taking. I don't have any more synonyms for that.
Yeah, you hit a lot. That was impressive.
It's 3. I don't think it was a lot.
That's rule of threes. That's all you got to do.
Cool.
You don't know what's going on. You don't know where he went. You don't know where you went. But it is the end of year 5, so it is the end of year 5 feast, and it's the end of year 5 in the game. So now you go into year 6.
Okay.
So summer happens. You don't see anything that happens in the summer, but it is the start of term feast. You reunite with a bunch of your friends. You discuss what happened last year, like you did in the books to recap people that don't remember what happened in between books.
Yeah. Always the most boring part of the books.
Yes.
Sorry if that's a hot take.
I hope it's not,
actually
because
sure.
I clowned on it often in the episodes of Potterless, because J.K. Rowling just made it so boring, and some people would try to defend it, say, oh, come on, you have to do it. Sometimes there's multiple years in between books. But hey, I've been reading the Percy Jackson books. Rick Riordan is really good at not making the recaps boring. All right, good. Good crowd here.
The thing is, like, can we just pick up when he goes to the burrow? Like, can we just pick up?
Yeah.
We don't, like, I get it, they're bad. The Dursleys, they're bad. And I feel, like, sorry for all of them, but I also hate all of them. Like, it's a mess.
Right.
And then
But are you sure you don't need to read 4 chapters per book about why
I'm
they're
relatively
bad?
certain, actually. Yeah.
But no, I mean, Rick in the Percy Jackson books does a really good job of just interspersing it throughout the first couple of chapters, but not just doing what J.K. Rowling does, which is just like 6 consecutive paragraphs recapping the previous book. Like, all right, J.K., we get it. Anyway, it's still in the game, true to form. But not all of your friends are at the feast. Ben, Marula, and Beatrice are all absent. You eventually find Ben and Marula. You learn that both of them changed after what happened in the portrait vault.
Oh.
So, I don't know, I guess they went through a traumatic event and became different people.
I mean, it happens.
Either that or maybe they went through puberty in between years 5 and 6. I don't know. Like,
It's quick. 3 months.
I mean, hey, in the summer, a lot can change. I went through a big growth spurt in between the summer of sophomore and junior of high school. It can happen.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
So they are changed people, but you still don't see Beatrice. And you talk to Penny, your friend, her sister, and she warns that something bad has happened to her. And then dun, 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 you figure out what's going on. So let me scroll to the right part so I can figure out what's going on.
Okay, while you're doing that, I thought of a callback joke, and I'm going to forget it if I don't
Please
say
do.
it.
Let it happen.
So the second best prank that my
Yes.
friends and I pulled
Okay.
in college.
Good.
Can you guys finish this joke? It's I invented this spell that makes stars fall.
No way, that's so
actually think,
mischievous.
Like, it did hurt me a little bit for you to make fun of it in the app because, like, one, they stole my story. Like, I that's me.
Man, you got to take him to IP court, baby.
Yeah, and I will.
Get a writing cred on the game, you know? They'll put you in the credits.
People know who wrote this.
So Penny tells you that Beatrice doesn't want to talk to Penny or to anyone, so you offer to help. You find out that Beatrice and Ismelda, who is basically one of the Crab and Goyle stand-ins, she's one of Marula's friends, but Ismelda is wild. Ismelda, like, really wants to learn what the unforgivable curses are and how to utilize them.
That sucks, yeah.
Yeah, she's like aspirational Death Eater, like really, really strange human. You talk to Beatrice and she makes it really clear, I do not want to talk to Penny. Later on, you discover, because this happens every year in this game, there's another curse that has struck Hogwarts, and it's from the final cursed vault. This time, it is a curse that petrifies students, and the only way to break it is to find the cursed vault. Now, this did happen in the second Harry Potter book.
I was thinking that, yeah.
So it feels like the people making this game came up with 5 curses, and then they were like, oh, a 6th thing? Like, I don't know how you don't come up with anything else. It is a giant magical world where you can just invent anything and then justify it by being, it's magic.
Sure.
But instead they're like, let's just rip off the thing from the second book, but not have the whole snake of it all.
The snake's the best part.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. The petrification is not cool. The basilisk
When I found out that
is.
shit was a snake, oh my God.
So that's what's happening in year 6. You have your first divination class of the year, and Professor Trelawney gives you a very ominous prophecy, so you have to figure out its meaning. So what do? You talk to your centaur friend Torvis to see if he can crack the code.
Is this the same centaur? Sorry.
This is not Ferenzi. It is a new character that we've met in the past named Torvis. You had a bit of a rocky start in your friendship, but then you were able to bond, and now he's your centaur friend.
I thought it wasn't the centaur from the books because Torvis is not a good name.
Yeah, Torvis.
So, but I wasn't sure. And I wanted to, okay.
It's a good instinct.
Yeah.
So you tried to talk to Torvis about this, but you find out that it is beyond his abilities to decipher. So he tells you, that's okay. There's some other centaurs that might know what's going on. So he says that in order for you to be allowed inside the centaur camp, you need to present suitable offerings to them. So you gather gifts for the centaur tribe. I do not know what the gifts are. I did not look them up. I'm very intrigued to know. Is it just like a bunch of sugar cubes and apples? Could it be? Is it a bunch of oats and hay?
I feel like maybe it's shirts.
I mean, yeah.
you never see those guys wearing shirts, and like, it's like it makes me more comfortable to be wearing a shirt than not wearing one, and I'm half of what they are.
So you present your offerings, and you are judged by Ferenzi, the centaur that we knew from before.
Okay, cool.
Thankfully, he finds your gifts acceptable, and you are allowed to visit the centaur camp as an honored guest. Now, he promises to study this prophecy because he can't figure it out quite yet, but hopefully he can be able to decipher it soon. And if you're thinking, that sounds like a bunch of bullshit, so that the game makes you want to extend things and try to pay money so it goes quicker, that's because it is. I don't understand, like, you look at a prophecy and you go, I don't know what this is, but let me do centaur research and I'll get back to you? Like, I don't know what he's doing in this time to figure it out.
They've got like a big library, and that books are all half book, half. Oh, I haven't thought of the other thing yet. Comic book. That's bad.
Half book, half graphic novel. Yeah. Words on one
nothing.
page,
Okay,
pictures
sure,
on the other.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There we go.
okay.
We've done it. Good
Yeah.
joke. Nice.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, good jokes into good jokes.
So you try to sort out the situation with Penny and Beatrice while the centaurs are figuring out what's going on, but you don't have any success. You also learn that Ben is trying to find out clues about Madame Rakepick by interrogating various dark wizards in Nocturne Alley. So he's really taking this bravery thing very seriously.
Just flip the switch, this guy.
Yes.
Again, it's aspirational.
Yeah. He's going into what is?
I think
something
he's
is something ominously beeping. I'm terrified. It is Ben. All right, the beeping stopped. That's cool.
I think Ben is going to get got. I don't feel great about it.
I don't either. For a long time, I thought Ben was a villain, and then you find out that like he was, but he was under the Imperious Curse, but maybe he was lying about it. I don't know. Either Ben's going to die or be evil. Not looking good for Ben.
Can anybody fact check you if you're like, oh, I'm under the Imperious Curse? Because that seems like a big loophole.
Right? You could just you could do something really mean and be like, guys, it wasn't me. Like you just can take the Shaggy, it wasn't me approach to anything in the wizarding world.
Right.
And unless they hit you with Veritaserum, it's not going to work.
Oh, okay. There's Veritaserum.
Yeah, but like you have to get it. Like they don't use it a lot, so it must be hard to get.
So as long as you keep your Imperious Curse to small things, then you can sail way under the radar.
So Charlie tells you that Bill is coming to Hogwarts soon, so you can finally get the chance to reconnect with him and see how he's been doing in the past couple of months. You find out that he is planning to teach you and your friends some defensive spells that might come in handy in case R attacks. Mm-hmm. Percy informs you that the twins, Fred and George, have gone missing, so you go with either Percy or Charlie. You get to choose. A pretty easy choice, if you ask me. And you go look for Fred and George. Eventually, you find them inside of the Red Cap's hole. The Red Cap is... last time I did a live show about this, I had to ask what a Red Cap was, and it's some sort of like evil gnome type creature that is like mentioned in the book, but not super in depth.
Sure.
But he's got a hole in the Forbidden Forest where he like captures people. So he has captured Fred and George.
That sounds really bad.
Yes. The reason that they got trapped here is because they were following your missing and then found, but then missing again, older brother Jacob.
Classic.
He was going into the Forbidden Forest. Fred and George chased after him. And then you are able to finally reunite with Jacob. So...
Wait.
Yeah.
Quick.
Yes.
How do we feel about Jacob? Like, how do you feel about Jacob?
Communication is very important in relationships.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more.
And I feel like if Jacob would just tell you what's going on, or at least be like, hey, I gotta go, blah, 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 I'll talk to you in a little bit, and then leave, I feel like Jacob could do a little bit better because he has been missing for most of your life.
Yeah. And also, like, seems like he would want a nap. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't trust somebody who's not like, can I, like, get some food or like a burger or, you know, like, whatever.
A butterbeer, something.
Butterbeer,
yeah. So Jacob tells you that a mysterious assassin is after you and Marula, and Jacob wants to duel you to make sure that in case the assassin attacks, you're ready to defend yourself.
It just seems like we should talk about other stuff.
Right. So your reunion, though, is very short-lived because right after the duel, he leaves.
We've already said what needs to be said.
Yeah, I want to like your brother here, but he is incredibly sketchy and dodgy and just a big old flake. And I don't like flakes. Not a fan.
Yeah.
So Penny introduces you to an immensely popular first-year Hufflepuff student named Cedric Diggory. That's right, baby. See, this is the fan service of why these people are in the games. When we said Peter Pettigrew, no one clapped. Why'd they put him in? What was the point? So you meet Cedric Diggory. I don't think there's any plot implications. You just meet Cedric Diggory. But then you notice Sickleworth, Madame Rakepick's pet niffler, carrying a white quill. So you realize, if I follow this niffler, I might find Madame Rakepick. So you decide to chase after it. Now you follow the niffler, and it ends up in Jacob's room. So Jacob had this like missing hidden room in Hogwarts, which does completely check out, given that there was a secret evil racist basement in Hogwarts and they didn't find it.
That's true.
So I feel like some sort of room where Jacob basically had the Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny stuff going on to try to figure out what's going on. Them not finding that room completely checks out.
How does Jacob know that there's a mysterious wizard who wants to duel me?
He's not good at communication. We don't know. So you find the niffler in Jacob's room, and also Jacob is there. So you talk with Jacob, and of course you only talk about the quill. You don't talk about, hello, brother that's been missing most of my life. How are you? What's been going on? Instead, you just talk about the immediate task at hand.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
Men, you know?
Yeah, gosh.
We can move on.
So you find out that the white quill is in fact a message for you from R. I'm starting to think that Jacob might be evil, and I don't like it. I don't like this, because how does Jacob know so much about it? It's uncomfortable, but it's a message for you from R. Apparently, they really want to kill you and one of your friends.
Okay.
You also learned that this white quill likely belonged to one of the owls, so you decide to locate it and see if you can learn more. I don't know if belong is just the wrong word to use here, or if I don't know what's happening here, but you have to go find an owl. So you go into the owlry, you talk with your friend Talbot, who's this kind of weird dude, Bad name as well, Talbot.
I was kind of in on Talbot, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I knew a nice Talbot.
For me, I don't know if this is a Northeast thing. Is the clothing brand Talbot and Talbot's Kids big or no? Okay. It was a clothing brand that like I knew in the Northeast, and like when I had to get like my first blazer for like my first communion and stuff, I got it from Talbot's Kids. And that's the only time I've ever seen the word or the name Talbot before.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
We can agree to disagree on this one.
The thing about Talbot that I will say is if you look up a photo of him, there are some people who say they think Talbot looks like me, and I think Talbot is really weird looking in the game. So when people tell me I look like him, I get really sad. Not like genuinely, but like, really? Like, I don't think I look like this guy. He does like kind of have like a long face and big hair, but like that's where it stops.
That's a fair way down the road.
Yeah. Anyway. So you meet up with Talbot in the owlery. Talbot like really likes animals and stuff, so that's I guess why he's hanging out in the owlery. You manage to locate the owl in the Forbidden Forest. And sadly, you go to chase after it, and it flies away because it's an owl. So you have to search elsewhere. Eventually, the search leads you to the Hog's Head Inn.
Cool.
You know, where owls go to turn up. And you learn that the owl belongs to Patricia Rakepick. Okay. So maybe the quill belongs to her and not the owl. I have no idea. But you learn that Rakepick recently left to go towards Nocturne Alley, I guess to just Cruciatus curse more innocent people for no good reason. So you decide to follow after her. You learn that Madame Rakepick is after the dark artifacts that she left in her classroom before she disappeared. And after asking around, you learn that Professor Dumbledore gave those artifacts to the Ministry of Magic. Good job, Dumbledore.
Yeah, that seems like there was a protocol, and he read it, and he
Yes.
followed it.
Pleasantly surprised with how normal this was.
Completely unprecedented
Just-
behavior from Dumbledore.
Yeah, Dumbledore does an exceedingly normal thing. What? So then what you decide to do, naturally, is that you are going to break into the Ministry of Magic to get these before Madame Rakepick can do it. And that is the perfect place to break for intermission. So, thank you for this wonderful applause. I've recapped a recap of an iPhone game. I'm going to pass things off to my good friend, Editing Mike. Hey, how's it going, everybody? So we're going to take a brief intermission here. See you all soon.
Oh, thank you very much, live past Editing Mike. It's me, current digital Editing Mike. I am here just for this little mid-roll break to first let people know that there is still Potterless digital merchandise. As mentioned in this episode, the physical stuff is no more, but there's still digital stuff like phone and laptop wallpaper bundles with ringtones, and there's also replays of old live shows and live streams that we've done. So if you go to potterlesspodcast.com/merch, you can check that out there as well. And then there's a bunch of physical merch and digital merch for my new podcast, The New Olympian. One of the things we just put up there is a video of the Philadelphia live show that we did, which was a half Potterless, half TNO show. And that one had a multi-camera setup, and there was someone operating the camera, and it's really high quality. That is a really fun show, and you get a little bit of Potterless, a little bit of TNO, the best of both worlds. That one lives at thenewstolympian.com/merch. And now you're going to hear words from a few sponsors who make it feasible for me to be a full-time podcaster. Some of these ads will be read by me, others of them won't. The ones that are not read by me are inserted locally. So if you live in Phoenix, Arizona, don't be surprised if you hear an ad for the Phoenix Suns/Phoenix Mercury basketball teams. I've seen them play. They're very good. Check them out. The arena's nice too. But once those ads are complete, we'll get back to this episode of Potterless.
Yeah. Everyone have a fun intermission. All right, let's figure out what the hell's going on in this iPhone game. So, man, we're going to break into the Ministry of Magic, aren't we?
It looks great, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For anyone listening on the podcast after the fact, I'm fixing my hair. Okay, so you're going to break into the Ministry of Magic, you know, like you do when you're 16 years old. So your friend Tulip advises you to seek the aid of a former Ravenclaw prefect who is now working for the ministry, named Chester Davies.
You know, we're gonna back up and talk about Tulip, right? Like,
Oh, Tulip Curaçao, your friend who loves pranks and stuff?
Curaçao's Tulip's last name?
Tulip Curaçao.
Okay. Curaçao is
Not like the blue liquor thing.
Okay,
Not
that's
yeah.
why I know it.
Not the liquor that just exists to make. What if you had a cocktail, but it was blue?
It's a great question. I just feel like we can't not acknowledge Tulip, but do I have anything in particular to say? Like, you know, you could have picked a better flower. We can move on.
Okay, I'm glad you brought this up. Tulips are interesting. I have a love-hate relationship with tulips.
I didn't mean I guess I should clarify.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
like the flower itself. I just think that, like, if you're going to name a British witch, Tulip is not great, I don't think.
Why is that? Am I missing a British flower reference? Is there a...
No, I just feel like there are other cooler sounding flowers. Like, that's
Such as?
No, you're not going to make me name types of flowers.
If you're going to trash...
Like, so you're in on Tulip? You like Tulip?
So I like Tulip, the character in the game. She's fun.
Okay.
She, like, does...
I pressed a button I shouldn't have pressed.
No. That's fine. What I meant, the tulips, the flower, though, in New York City, where I live, they do a fun thing in the planters and stuff near our neighborhood where in the spring, so like in April and May, they put a bunch of tulips in the planters.
Yeah.
So then you get to see that they've been planted and then like they slowly are really big. And then it's exciting because they're only around for like a couple days before all the petals fall off, which is cool. But also like, yeah, tulips don't really last very long. So it's like, it's like they're very cool and very pretty, but also they don't last a lot. Like, are they a good flower? Are they a bad flower? I don't know.
I feel like we've done enough Tulip. What do you think?
I don't know. I just like tulips. I don't know.
We could go the other way. What's your
Go
favorite
all
color
in and
tulip?
only talk about tulips for the next 40 minutes.
I'm sort of a purple. I guess we call them violet when they're flowers. Like that would be my favorite color of tulip.
I like for tulips, they have these ones where it's like an orange, yellow, kind of like ombre situation
They
going
do,
on. Yeah, they're really nice. They're very nice. Anyway, if you want to see me posting pictures of tulips, follow me on Instagram in April and May because I go on Tulip Watch. I go through strolls in the park near our place where they have a lot of tulips. It's very pretty and it's very nice.
That sounds romantic.
Yeah, I do it with Kelly or myself. So, Tulip advises you to talk to Chester Davies to see if he can help you. So you meet with Chester, you explain the situation to him. You know, how you want to steal things from the Ministry of Magic?
Yeah.
And he says,
It reminds me of my third best prank from college. Okay, we're done with that one.
yeah.
It's retired.
Cha-ching, rule of threes. So,
That was the fourth.
he says he can't directly help you, but he says it is possible to sneak into the Ministry of Magic using an invisibility cloak. You know, how you just get one of those?
Right.
So you talk to your friend Jay, you learn that one of his business acquaintances, so Jay's a drug dealer, one of his business acquaintances, Jay is a student at Hogwarts who has business acquaintances.
Sure. Fred and George started a
That's, you know what? That's
shop.
true. That's very true.
Yeah, there's precedent.
So he says that one of his business acquaintances could probably sell you an invisibility cloak. All right.
Okay. Yeah, great.
But this person won't sell it to you unless you give them a love potion. But luckily, according to your friend Andre, your friend Penny should be able to brew a love potion.
Okay, sick. So,
Yeah.
So it's all coming together.
It's all coming together. You talk to Penny. She says she's going to brew the love potion. You learn that the business associate's name is Alistair.
And that's a bad sign. I'm not sure about Alistair.
Alistair. I know people have pronounced it both ways. Apologies to all the Alistairs listening. You go on, you gather all the necessary ingredients, and then Penny successfully brews it. So you have to meet up with Alistair to trade the potion for an invisibility cloak, and you are able to get it. So what do you do after you acquire an invisibility cloak?
I'm just worried that this love potion's just out there floating in the wind, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, love potions in Harry Potter are messed up. Super
I
not
feel like
cool.
we're on the same page about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Consent, great. Love potions, not great. So you end up doing the trade. You get the invisibility cloak. What else do? You practice it on your professors in school to make sure that if you sneak into the Ministry of Magic, you're ready to go.
Functionally, also a thing that happened in the books.
Yeah, I think it's fine. So the cloak works just as intentioned, and you are able to eavesdrop on some of your professors without them noticing you. I
Okay.
don't know what the details of the conversations are, but I am intrigued.
Yeah, they're all mad at each other. And they've scheduled the wrong kids, and I don't know. I thought I could make teacher jokes, and I really can't.
I
Should
don't
we
know.
call Carter really quick? Just like throw some teacher
Oh,
jokes.
yeah, our good friend Carter, who won Teacher of the Year. Hooray, he did it.
Teacher of the year, guy we know. Also would have been more qualified to host this podcast.
Later on, you're in the Hogshead Inn, and Mad-Eye Moody appears to warn you of upcoming danger. He asks you to meet him at the training grounds where he's going to explain everything. So he warns you that R has former Death Eaters in its ranks.
Hey,
So-
did we ever... We disappeared for 3 hours with Mad-Eye Moody, right?
Yes,
Hasn't come back?
you've sworn to secrecy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And we're not talking about it now. We're talking about a different thing.
Look, sworn to secrecy, not even you, the player of the game, can know
Right.
what took place.
Okay, cool.
Your character, very good at keeping secrets.
Oh, wait. I forgot. I'm like in on this choice. Wait, hang on. No, this is good. This is a normal way for people to act.
So apparently, there is also an Azkaban escapee going after you, and this is probably the mystery assassin that wants to kill you. So later, you go and meet with your friend Ben in the Forbidden Forest, and he wants to prove to you that he is this new brave Ben. What's he going to do to prove that? He wants to fight the Acromantula. He willingly wants to go into the Forbidden Forest, the one that's forbidden, and fight the giant, evil, talking spider that enjoys eating humans. Flip
like
that switch. Ben's in sicko mode. Ben's in goblin mode. He's ready to go.
Yeah, I feel like we should give Ben a hug and a nap. I think I'm not even sure that this is not fear anymore. I feel like
Men
it's
will
just-
literally go into the Forbidden Forest to fight an Acromantula instead of going to therapy.
There you go.
And so he wants to do this. I don't think he actually does. I think you talk him out of it. But he also says, hey, have you met my friend Cedric, who you have met? But you get to hang out with Cedric some more.
Okay, can we do another round of applause?
Another round of applause for Cedric Diggory. Shout out to Robert Pattinson.
Yeah.
So you spend some time with Cedric, and you help Madame Pomfrey as well, tending to some patients. Okay? So later on, you then are brewing up some pepper up potion for Madame Pomfrey. What is cool, and I will say, and I say this every time I do one of these live shows, is that Madame Pomfrey in this game is the coolest character. And if anything good came from this game, is that they fleshed out Madame Pomfrey, who just was like the ultimate, I'm getting too old for this shit character in the books, and they expand that in the game, and it's really nice. I appreciate and I love that for her.
Yeah, that sounds nice. Another reason I'm going to get the game.
Yeah. So you help Madame Pomfrey, you're making this pepper potion. While you're brewing it, Professor Snape asks you to follow him back to the hospital wing. And once you get there, you find that Madame Pomfrey has been petrified by the cursed vault curse situation. So Dumbledore then decides to make an announcement. He tells everyone about what happened to Madame Pomfrey, and he forbids any student from leaving the castle since there's an assassin on the loose. True to Hogwarts form, not send the kids home, just don't leave.
The kids are only being petrified in the castle, right?
Yeah. Okay. So there's the internal danger of if you're inside, you'll get petrified. If you're outside, you might get murdered. So it's really, pick your poison here.
Yeah, I could go home. I would go home.
I would leave. I would go home so quickly.
Doesn't matter that my mom's a muggle. She's coming to get me. Like it's not going to stop her.
Okay. You end up going against Dumbledore's wishes, and you and your friend Beatrice sneak out to search around the lake for the final vault, because maybe it's by the lake. But instead, you end up finding the missing Azkaban escapee who starts to attack you, but a mysterious person breaks up the fight and you are able to escape with just minor injuries. Now, your friend Kiara helps heal your wounds, and later on, you find out that Dumbledore already knows that you snuck out to the lake because
Cool. Yeah.
he's a powerful wizard and he's the headmaster, or Hogwarts has CCTV? Who's to say? And of course, you get put in detention. So both you and Beatrice are in detention, but then later on, you go to the kitchens, and then you meet with your friend Talbot in the Owlery. I don't know how this is important, but maybe you just got a quick snack and hung out with some house elves, and then you went to the Owlery. But you're in the Owlery, and you meet up with Talbot. You search around to try to find some more clues about what's going on with Rakepick and all this stuff. And you find a note with a message written on it in Japanese.
Sick.
So what do? You go to the library to find a book where you can translate Japanese.
All right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the
Logical
80s or
solution.
whatever, I guess. We don't know anybody, I assume.
No, I
That would've been
didn't.
my first guess.
Nope. I'm glad that you didn't go to your Korean friend Jay Kim and go, "Hey Jay." So that's like, thank God.
Dodge the bullet on that.
Yeah, really could have been dodgy there. So you are able to translate this message, and you learn that there are white quills hidden at the lakeshore. So you go back to the lakeshore, the one that got you in trouble, and Talbot wants to come along with you. So you go there, you check out the quills, you are able to learn that Jacob is the one who saved you from the mysterious wizard Azkaban escapee who attacked you.
Yeah.
And you also learn that the ministry is looking for this Azkaban escapee. So what have they done? They've sent Dementors to search for him. Classic ministry. Now, while you go into Jacob's room to search for some more clues, you find one. You untransfigure a black quill that reveals a message from R asking Jacob to meet R at the forest grove.
I'm feeling very validated.
So you decide that you are going to try and sneak on this meeting to see if you can figure out what's going on. So Marula, Ben, and you do some final preparations for heading into the Forbidden Forest, and you learn Flipendo Maxima.
Hell yeah.
Now here's what's cool. I don't know if you're keyed in on Flipendo here, but Flipendo is a spell that never existed in the Harry Potter books. It never existed in the Harry Potter movies, but it's been in literally every Harry Potter video game across every platform.
Okay.
It's in the PlayStation game. It's in the computer games. It's in the Game Boy games. It's in this game. I don't know why Flipendo has just been decided as yup, we gotta have it, but it's in every game. So what have they done here? They've taken Flipendo and done Flipendo Maxima, which is also a thing that doesn't exist in the books, but in the movies they were like, what if it was a spell but big? So they found the Latin word for big, and then boom, Flipendo Maxima. So you've
Do you know
done
that
the
because
movie.
you took
What's up?
Latin in high school?
Yeah, I took Latin in high school. So
I did.
that's how I knew.
Yeah, I did as well. That's how I knew.
Did you also take Latin in high school?
Oh, and middle school, and I don't remember any of it.
I remember just enough to get by in podcasts to do some fun facts.
They really misled me when they were like, "Come take Latin. You'll learn a bunch of cool history, and you'll learn about some warriors that fought stuff." And I could speak a language right now, and I don't.
Yeah.
Because I was like, Achilles is a spear.
There was a period in my life when taking Latin in high school really didn't pay off at all. Because it helped me with the English on the SATs, but then nothing. And then it wasn't until I got to make a recurring joke on my podcast that now it has come back around and has become useful. If I was able to speak Spanish or French, that would be pretty cool and very useful and fun and cultural and blah, blah, blah. But I can make a joke on my podcast every now and then.
What do you think the ratio of kids in your Latin class to kids who've successfully used Latin? You think it's just you?
It would be me versus however many kids were in my Latin class. Yeah, I'm the one who made it and found a way. So you learn Flipendo Maxima, and you go into the forest, and you quickly get surrounded by a bunch of Dementors, but there's so many of them.
Wait, does Flipendo Maxima you do sick flips, or what do you do?
It is, so Flipendo is just it's the knockback jinx, so it kind of just makes someone fall over.
All right.
So I guess it's like the cat to anything on a countertop spell.
Not sick at all. So healthy.
And then it's just the big version. So you get surrounded by a bunch of Dementors. All of your attempts to repel them are in vain. You get saved, surprisingly, by Madame Rakepick, but the reason why she saved you from the Dementors is because she wanted to finish you off herself. So you have a big fight. None of you are powerful enough to defeat her. Ben tries his best to protect you, but he can't stop her as well.
Oh, no.
And just as she is about to cast the killing curse on him, Rowan, your best friend, appears and pushes him out of the way, and Rowan gets killed instead. Yes! I know! Your best friend in the game gets murdered. And not even in year 7, in year 6! A year earlier than you would think!
You picked the right thing to be upset about.
It's
It's for sure. You zeroed in on the issue here.
So what's funny about this is that I knew this was going to happen because Kelly, when she plays this iPhone game, it's usually before she's going to bed. It's kind of like her mindless, silly, like, let me just wind down and, tap on my phone a little bit and then go to bed activity. And I usually stay up a little later than Kelly, furiously editing my podcasts. From the other room, like I was in the living room, she's in the bedroom, I just hear a muffled, because we have very thick walls, I hear a very muffled, what the fuck? Maybe Kelly said, what the heck, but it was at least in that cadence. And I run in being like, are you okay? And she goes, they killed Rowan. I was like, what? And I think I asked, is it year 7? And she goes, no, it's year 6. Which of course was my first question.
He's consistent, folks. He believes what he believes, no matter what.
I mean, to be fair, I was surprised that they didn't kill off Ron in the book. Like
Felt like we were going
before
that way.
they started killing off all of the like close but not the best friends. I thought Ron was a high candidate, but then they just were like, "What if we said it was kind of like trying to like kill 4 quarters to equal $1?" They're like, "What if we kill 4 people we like care a lot about, but not as important to Harry as Ron?" Like, we'll just kill.
Someone was really hurt by that comparison.
Someone's like, "No, oh man, I love Tonks." Well, she wasn't in the books that much, but Tonks is great. They shouldn't have murdered her. It was very sad. It was not
whole
completely uncalled for.
I hate Tonks. He was like, don't say anything. And this is like a big violation of trust that I'm doing right now. It's like, this dude hates Tonks.
But, I mean, the iPhone game had the guts to do what JK couldn't. It's like, kill off your best friend. It's wild. And that's where we're going to end. What the heck is going on in the plot of Harry Potter Hogwarts Mystery?
Woo!
For this live show. We'll have to see in the future. But yeah, that's what's going on. Your best friend is dead. Yay! So at this point in time, we're going to continue and do some Q&A. But as I always do, I'm going to begin with an email that was sent at exactly the right time from someone named Kelly Schubert. The subject line is, "It's me, ... your wife." Kelly says, "Hi, Meek, miss you. I had a hard time coming up with a question, but I landed on one. Hermione versus Annabeth," from Percy Jackson, if you haven't read. She says, "The fight is on who would win, but then an asterisk." And she goes, "Though we both know they're too smart to fight and would choose to band together." I feel like if they had to fight, it would be easy for Annabeth, since her go-to move is take my bronze knife and put it to someone's throat. Whereas
Not enough of that in the wizarding world. Just using weapons.
Yeah.
It could have been helpful.
For sure. Hermione, not the best. She did punch Draco in the face that one time, which was very cool. But she also, in the first book, forgot that she could light things on fire with her magic wand.
She was 11.
Don't know that she's the best at fighting. I feel like Annabeth would take it in a fight here.
I want Kelly to know that I also know that they would talk it out 100%. I don't feel that I'm Percy Jackson qualified enough. I'm picking Hermione.
Okay, yeah, that's all good.
She's cool.
She is cool. She's cool, and she becomes more confident and competent, and she's like very quick on her feet later on in the series.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily see her in a lot of duel situations, but
I
she
think
could.
It's like a last resort for her, where it's not for the boys, and it probably should be.
Yeah, like
So-
she's trying to do like it's like the D&D person who tries to like talk their way out of a fight before committing to fighting. You know,
I think even in the fight, we'd be using a lot of silly spells. Like we would not be like gloves off from Hermione.
No.
But I'm still picking her.
Okay, all right, I like it. So this next question comes from Dakota, who has 2 questions. First, what Harry Potter creature would you and Kelly adopt as a pet, and what would you name it? So, first off, and you can also answer this question as well. What pet would you adopt? I feel like I wouldn't want a dangerous pet. I know a Krupp is the cute, like 3-tailed dog, which I think is very adorable, but at the same time, I don't want a dog. It does count as Wizarding World. Can I just get a cat? Like, is that okay? Can I do that? Because, like, famously, I'm not a big pet guy. So if I could get, like, a low maintenance, like, you're going to be okay on your own.
Yeah.
We would get a cat. And Kelly and I have said if we ever do get a cat, we would name it Pamplemousse, our favorite French word, which is the French word for grapefruit, the worst fruit. It's the best word for the worst fruit. And we would call the cat Moose for short. So
I think just a cat named Moose is what I would go for.
I'd adopt Ron Weasley.
Okay. What would you name Ron Weasley?
I would spell Ron like my last name.
Oh,
That would be
R-A-U-N.
R-A-U-N. Ron
That's very
Weasley,
cute.
yeah.
I like that. That's very cute. Okay, so then there's a part 2 to this question, which is not about Harry Potter. It's very fun. Who was your OG Suns' favorite player from when Steve Nash played with Amare and Shaq?
Okay.
It's very interesting that you would ask this, Dakota, because in the mid-2000s, I really was into the Phoenix Suns. I thought they had really cool uniforms. They had the purple and the gray and the orange and gray. I really liked it. They had the cool, like, basketball on fire Sun logo. I really liked Steve Nash as a player. The Knicks were very bad at this point in time, so I wanted to root for other teams while they were doing poorly.
Stuff has changed since then.
yeah,
Knicks
they're
are
just
so
so good now. But I really enjoyed that team. I would say it's tough because there's a lot of good characters. Like Steve Nash certainly was my favorite player at that time. Just the long hair that was always wet and like kind of a little blue. I really enjoyed Steve Nash a lot. But I would say like now my answer might be Boris Diaw because I've learned a lot of fun things about Boris Diaw now. Like he would bring a full espresso machine to all of the games because he really was particular about his coffee and didn't trust other places to make the coffee. Yes, this man is French.
I'm going with Goran Dragic.
Goran Dragic.
Yeah.
That's very fun. Eventual
Thank
Houston
you,
Rockets
thank
player.
you. I became obsessed with basketball in the year 2011 because it was the lockout season and it was the first year I had a TV in my room. So sort of combined to me not paying attention to school, watching basketball. And Goran Dragic we had just gotten him from the Suns. And so I was like, I still am, really in on every player who was on that team. So yeah, Dragic.
That's awesome.
And had a famously great playoff game against the Spurs.
Yes.
One of the mortal enemies.
And he also famously got absolutely sent to the Shadow Realm by Derrick Rose dunking on him quite bad. If you want to see,
That's a different
If you want
Goran
to see someone get murdered on television, just YouTube Derrick Rose Goran Dragic. It's terrifying. Derrick Rose hits his head on the backboard.
No.
That's how high he jumped. That's like 9 feet in the air.
He wasn't like a defensive mastermind.
No, and I think he was like a rookie at the time.
That was not really the thing.
He might have been a rookie, which is like, imagine like, hello, welcome to your first year on the job. One of the greatest players has just ethered you. So here's an email from Kelsey, makes the subject line Sons and 4. So, oh yes, thank you, Kelsey, for reminding me to make this joke. Kelsey opens it with, so glad you're back in the wilds of Arizona, which is a line from the first Fantastic Beasts movie where they need to return the bird to the wilds of Arizona. Which, like, yes, a lot of great nature in Arizona. I would not call it the wilds.
Are they still making those?
I'm sorry?
Fantastic Beasts movie, they're still making those?
Yeah, they made a third one. And to all the people asking me if I'm going to make an episode about it, no, because one, the podcast doesn't make episodes anymore. I just post live show audio. But two, I'm not going to fucking watch that movie. Like, beyond the reason of I do not want to give any money directly or indirectly to J.K. Rowling, I don't want to waste 3 hours of my life. You know what I could do with those 3 hours? Literally anything else. Anything would be better.
Yeah.
How could it be worse than the last movie? That's impressive. I'm definitely not watching it. So yeah, they are still making them. They're not doing well, which is great. I think they're gonna like completely stop the franchise, which makes me really happy. And it's so funny with the Fantastic Beasts movies that like when they first came out, I had very recently started Potterless, and I remember there was some discourse, people being confused that like, if you're gonna make a prequel series or any sort of like extended universe thing, why are you doing it about the guy who like just goes around finding creatures and writes a textbook? And people were kind of making fun of this as a concept for the spin-off series. And now, after the second one and all of the terrible things that everyone involved in the production, everyone's like, could you please just make a movie where Eddie Redmayne and I forget the guy who plays Jacob Kowalski's name, but he's really nice. What's that actor's name? Dan Fogler, thank you. I met him for like 5 seconds in the green room of LeakyCon once because he did like 12 panels in one day, and he was very nice in those 12 seconds. Anyway.
Somebody's a niche internet micro-celebrity.
And he just stopped as bragging or doing anything close to it. Again, I was just trying to say he's nice, not flex.
Yeah, he's nice. He's nice. we
But
like him in this sense.
it's so funny that now we're just like, can we please just have a movie where they go to different countries and find beasts? Like, we're begging for the thing that we were clowning on them 4 years ago. But honestly, if they just made a lighthearted, silly, like, it's Indiana Jones, but kind of fun and stuff and more lighthearted, and they find beasts and they go to different continents, like, God, that would have been so good. Gosh, it would have been so good. Gosh. Anyway, Kelsey asked a question. Kelsey says, I'm Kelsey, Ravenclaw here with my husband, Ben, not the scared guy from the game. Nice. Who is also a Ravenclaw. My question, are those lemons or parsnips on your shirt? They are lemons. Thank you for asking. They are lemons. You can't tell because the table here is blocking it, but I am wearing yellow socks to match the yellow lemons. Put a lot of thought into the outfit, as I always do. I was going to wear like a purple shirt and orange pants, but then the sun's lost and I was like, too soon. So, Ben has a question. What, in your opinions, would wizard drugs look like and what would they do? All right. You know us. You know us, big drug guys. I feel like wizard drugs, I mean, for the most part, like wizard alcohol isn't that much different from regular alcohol. So I feel like wizard drugs wouldn't be that much different from regular drugs. So I feel like if you are going to get magic into the mix, like maybe it is just what all of the like edibles, containers, and boxes like promise you are going to happen, but really it's always just a roll of the dice of either if you're going to be like, I'm going to laugh at everything, or I'm going to like question the concept of time. So I feel like they would just have like hyper specific sort of like, you know, kind of like Fred and George do weird stuff with candy. So maybe it's just like hyper specific edibles where it's like, you have this and you're going to laugh at stuff. You have this one and music is going to sound really good. You have this one and you're going to like notice how bad CGI is in like old movies. I'm just describing all the things that happen to me when I'm on edibles.
I would like a drug where you don't notice how bad CGI is. That would be like so much stuff would become more fun if I was just like, watching episodes of Star Trek, like, I'm really there.
Look, that could be one of the, maybe that's one of the things. It's like, it's a suspensive disbelief wizard edible. Is like, you go and it's just like, whoa, it's so believable.
I think this is a shockingly good take on what wizard drugs are.
Let's do it. Let's write the book.
Okay.
We'll make a new fan fiction. Okay. Another question. This is from Erica. Erica says, playing this game as a non-racist Slytherin. Thank you for clarifying. If anyone's ever been to a Potterless live show, usually we have a microphone passing it around and stuff, and people say their name and what house they are, and if they're a Slytherin, they have to say whether or not they're racist. And if they're racist, I don't field your question because I got to draw the line somewhere. But Erica says, my biggest rant with this game is that if you decide to be a Slytherin, Marula and the goons are still Slytherin, so you just hate these people and then sleep in the same dorm and you lose house cup points together. I like that this is not a question. It's just, I'm angry and I need to tell someone about this.
Until you were saying that you lose house points to them, I was sort of like, yeah, have you ever been to college? like I didn't hate people who lived in different dorms, really.
Yeah, I never had a situation. I had some weird roommates just my freshman year before you got to pick who your roommates were. Yeah. Did you ever have I never had a bad situation. I just had like some weird guys.
No, my first year roommate was like one of my best friends in the world from high school, and we hated each other the whole year.
Oh no.
And it was just a sort of a thing where we both just like, there was an implicit understanding the second we move out, we're going to be best friends again.
Yeah.
It was just sort of like us. This is not it. Us sleeping in the same room. This is not okay. This is not it.
Sometimes you just can't live with some folks, and that happened with me and my buddy. Did you know Joseph Song? He was my year at Rice, but like we weren't roommates. We were suite mates, so we shared a suite, but not a bedroom. We like were friends like early on, like you know, and everything was cool. And then like a couple months in, like then roommate dislike came in because it was just like leaving stuff in places or whatever. Yeah. And then same thing, like we had like a little tough time towards the end of freshman year, and then once we were living together, very close friends again. So sometimes it just happens.
Yeah.
So valid that the Slytherin people are still mean to you. Not cool. Totally get it.
What house
valid
would you put them in? If you're going to be a Slytherin in the game, what house are then the bullies in?
They would have to be like, I see why the game couldn't do this, but like you would have to just put them in Gryffindor, like because Gryffindor and Slytherin really don't like each other. Hufflepuff's too nice, and then Ravenclaw's like can't be bothered with to stoop to their own level. It's like I have important things to study.
Like a Ravenclaw bully or a Hufflepuff bully who's like, accidentally mean all the
Yeah.
time. Like, they don't know that they're doing it, and they're just sort of like, you hate them, and they love you.
Yeah, it would be fun to have a Ravenclaw bully who was just like flip the script on a bully and they're just like really smart and they just like get on you for not knowing all the cool facts about wizardry that they know. I think that could be fun. But then they'd have to like write a whole nother thing. Ugh. All right, this question comes from Masha. Am I saying that right? Okay, cool. Masha says the Suns would have won in the thing. I also like that wasn't prefaced with anything, like if Chris Paul was healthy or whatever, but like they would have, should have. Yeah, they should have. Would have? Who's to say? The question, on TNO, you recently said that you don't like pets. Can you further expand on this hot take? Look, it's not that I dislike pets. I just didn't grow up with them, and I just feel like there is so much effort to be put into having a pet. At that point, why not just have a kid? That's where I'm at. Where like if you're gonna have a thing that like makes it harder for you to travel and costs a lot of money and you have to get shots all the time and they like go to the doctor and stuff, like why not just go for the thing that can grow up? I also know like I'm very much hyperbolizing this and like you can't just like be like, oh yeah, sure, let me just have a kid. But that is my thought of like, I saw how much work and stuff pets were, and I, as someone that had no like connection in growing up with them, just all like, why would someone do this to themselves kind of thing.
I have a classic black witch's cat, and she is my favorite person in the world. And but okay, this is the setup I've got. I've got a self-cleaning litter box.
Okay.
I have like a tray of litter that some company ships me every month, and I just pull the old one out and I put the new one in.
That's nice.
And then I have a self-food dispensing thing, and then she just drinks my water. So like I don't really have to put out water for her, because if I leave a water glass unattended at all, like she's in there. It's pretty good.
I wouldn't go as far to say I'm not anti-pet. I'm not like trying to tell
Instagram is
people they're not
@Bastet.
No, plug it.
Oh, it's Bastet the cryptid.
Very good.
Bastet, Egyptian god, the cryptid.
There you go. Yeah.
Cryptids. There you go.
Let me just be clear. I'm not anti-pet. They're just not for me. You know, I'm not going to yuck anyone's pet yum. They're just not for me. I also care too much about my shoes where if I like, came home and a pet was like clawing them up or peeing on them, I would be devastated.
I feel like I was really respectful about your bad pet take because I wanted to talk about Bastet, and I should have dunked on you a little bit harder.
Look,
But
I know it's a hot take.
These people know this about you. I know this about you.
We don't need to
Women
discuss
not.
it. So this one comes from, all right, is it Liney? L-Y-N-E-A? Am I Linnea? How do I say it? Nailed it the second time? There we go. So Linnea asks, if the final battle between Harry and Voldemort was a smack talk battle, which like it kind of was, what would be those zingers? I mean, definitely Harry had a lot of zingers in there because he called him Tom. Great.
Yeah.
And then Voldemort was like, do you dare? He said, yes, I dare. I don't know, like cool zingers to throw. I mean, I feel like you could just make fun of his lack of style, his lack of shoes, his lack of nose. Like there's lots of stuff you can bring up. Yeah, his gross toenails.
Just to put myself in Voldemort's snot shoes for a second. I think if I were going to be mad at Harry Potter, I'd be like, okay, can you point out the actions that you did? Like, what did you do that brought you here? And
Yeah.
then he's going to be like, oh, well, Hermione did this. And I'd be like, no. What did you do that brought you here? What did you, Harry, what did you do?
Yeah, because like you didn't defeat me. Your mom did a cool thing, gave you the magic spell to defeat me. Like, yeah, a lot of other people propping him up.
I mean, I'm sure some people here are coming up with something, but I just feel like he'd be sort of put on, because I think he thinks of it all as like, well, of course, I brought myself to this place.
Yeah, I think that's good because I feel like Harry does have a good amount of zingers in there, but Voldemort doesn't have a lot. I feel like Voldemort just calling out the fact that Harry didn't really do a whole lot on his own would be good. It'd be the perfect thing to sweep out the rug from under him. The other question to follow up was how would you stage it? And I would stage it exactly as it was in the book where where they're just like walking in a circle like they're Simba and Scar. Like it was already perfect. And the fact that they didn't include that in the movies, a felony. Like David Yates should be in prison. Ooh, okay. Marissa asks, Hagrid versus Tyson. They are both gentle giants, but really sometimes the author makes them seem less intelligent than others. This is a good question. I'm going to give the edge to Tyson here because like Tyson is so pure and always doing his best, and Hagrid just like his trademark is saying things he shouldn't have said. I feel like Tyson's got a little bit of an edge there. Second question, how do you find guests for live shows versus regular shows? This is great. Live shows, the order of operations. Hey, Kelly, do you want to do it? hey, Johnny, do you want to do it?
This feels great.
And then
How long do you guys think this list is gonna? I think it's gonna be like 10, 15 people.
the next is, do I have a friend that lives nearby that would be fun to do this on stage with? And that is where Grant fell into. But yeah, Grant, woo!
I live in LA. I don't live in Phoenix. I'm so sorry if you thought I lived in Phoenix. I do not.
Grant lives in Los Angeles, which was close enough, and I knew the flights would be cheap. So I was like, hey, Grant, I'll cover your flight. You want to come and make fun of an iPhone game in Phoenix with me on a Wednesday night? And Grant said yes.
Yeah. The truth is, though, that I was your original podcast co-host.
Yes.
Do you
Oh,
wanna
good.
recap this?
Great. We've naturally found the segue, and this will be what we'll close the night on. Perfect. Very quickly, though, Marissa's son wants to know, can he copy your haircut? And if he does, can he ask for the Schubes? Sure. They won't know what you're saying, though, so maybe show them a photo of me. Totally copy.
Is there somebody who cuts hair here who knows what the Schubes is? Because we could solve this problem. We could knock it
I
out.
don't think it's a thing. Okay, but as far as regular shows, it's just finding like other podcasters because other podcasters are good at podcasting and have microphones. Usually, that's the key there. Okay, so let's talk about our podcast history to close out the show because this is great. We have to take it back to us doing the mystery plays, which was a student-run play. What was your role? You were the assistant director?
I was like, no. I was in it, but barely. I would had a half foot in it. And Susanna would be like, hey, you don't have to sway nervously in scenes. Okay, Susanna.
So I was also barely in this play. It was one of my first forays into doing plays at Rice. And we would do these different warm-ups before getting on and doing dress rehearsals, the show, etc. In the green roomy area, there was this library of scattered random books, and there was this one really chunky book called Cat Magic, and it was this really long, weird as hell sci-fi book. And what we would do is I would take the book.
Wait, and the first chapter was ripped out.
Yes.
So there's no way to know what happened.
No way to know. I would take the book, I would find a random passage, and then either I or usually our friend Carter, who was the lead in the play, very good acting, teacher of the year, he would in this very deep voice dramatically read a passage from Cat Magic. And then that would be our hype up before we took the stage. And then we would end it after he read, a paragraph of stuff that we had no idea what was going on. In unison, we would all go, Cat Magic. And then that was our warm up. So after college, we were trying to figure this out, chicken or the egg, who came up. I feel like I had the idea for it because I was getting into doing podcast stuff. I was doing the Vine podcast. I had done my little basketball thing with my fantasy basketball league. And I feel like I had come up with the idea and then you ran with it more to come up with a structure for it. We recorded one episode, which has been lost at least to the annals of time on my end because it was in a Gmail and then it got deleted and it's not on G Drive anymore.
But tell me if this sounds familiar to you guys. The concept of this podcast is we'd read a chapter of this book and then we'd make fun of it. Mm-hmm. Have you guys heard of a podcast like that?
The other thing we try to do is predict what happens next, not knowing what would happen.
Preview the next episode was pretty good.
It was very much the precursor to Potterless. And we had recorded an episode, I'm sure very poorly. The audio quality could not have been good. And I remember we did one and you were more into it before we recorded. And then I recorded and I was more into it. And then you had kind of dropped the ball and then we didn't pursue it any further.
I 100% flaked on it. It was it was not good. And I didn't know how to say hey, we need to take another shot at this. And so I just said, classic move here. I said nothing about it. And then we brought it up 2 years later as a joke. Shubes is a successful podcaster, and as you might know, I'm not.
Now, the mistake was that in the planning, you were going to be the host, and I was going to be the color commentary guy. So I guess we figured out why it didn't sound good, and it sounds like it was your fault.
Yeah, no, I agree. I 100% agree. But this is the original podcast lineup, right here.
We've done it, so we've come full circle. I feel at some point in time, now that I am professional podcast boy, we could find a way, whether it's a thing or a limited series, it's not impossible to do it. It's just that book is so fucking long.
Yeah,
it's 500 pages, and we did read the first couple of chapters. It's wild.
Yeah.
What we did learn is that what happens is there's this big, giant, evil, ethereal cat, and it starts possessing people in the town and stuff.
There was a frog.
The way that... What? Yeah, there was a frog involved, right? No. There was... They're going to kick us off the stage.
We're way too excited.
What
Sorry.
happened was someone was driving into town to do like some experimental research on a frog.
Yes.
And their car drove over a road where like a tendril of the ethereal cat was laying
Yes.
across the road, and it dragged it like from the sky over into the town.
Yeah.
And then it possessed like a frog that they were dissecting in a lab, like doing experimental electrotherapy stuff on.
Yeah.
And then that's how the plague started possessing people in the town. It's wild. At someday we will do
It sounds
this.
sick as hell.
We're gonna do it at some point. Cat magic will happen. The magical podcat will happen.
It warms my heart. I'm ready.
Okay, now you're ready. Now that I'm a famous podcaster, I'm good enough for you.
Yeah, could you do all the heavy lifting?
We'll make it happen.
And then I will probably show up to record.
Oh, but this is great. Thank you all so much for coming. First off, let's give a round of applause for Grant for coming on, flying down, doing the show. Give a round of applause for all of you for coming out. That's super cool. And for all of the folks who have helped us run it, all the folks here at CB Live, from sound to hospitality and everything, have been super cool. So thank you guys all so much. Yeah. Did anyone come from like far away to see the show? Like, did someone travel? Where'd you come from? What the fuck? That is super far. Okay, because you've traveled from very far, you can have this I took Latin in high school notebook as a you're the person from the farthest distance gift. I will leave it here at the table, and you can come get it. But yeah, normally love to do meet and greet stuff, but it's the world right now, so gonna try to be a little safe. So just gonna like scoot on backstage. But I really appreciate you all so much for coming out. This has been wonderful and lovely. And as they say in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, after they accidentally bring in an ethereal cat into town to possess a dissected frog, Wizard up! Thanks so much for coming out, everybody!
Thank you so much for listening to this live show episode of Potterless. Potterless is created by Mike Schubert. It is hosted by Mike Schubert. It is edited by Mike Schubert. It is produced by Mike Schubert. And it was also made possible over the years by lots of patrons. And I'm still very thankful to all of those patrons to this very day. If you want to be in the know of any new Potterless things going on, such as live shows in a city near you, I'm trying to make international stuff happen. As you can see, I'm here in Australia, trying to make a Europe situation happen early next year, potentially some Canada shows as well, more cities in the US, either cities I've already been to or some new ones. So make sure you're following Potterless on social media so you don't miss those announcements. We're at PotterlessPod on Twitter, we're at PotterlessPodcast on Instagram, and we're also on Facebook at facebook.com/Potterless and Reddit, reddit.com/r/Potterless. I've already mentioned all the goodies that are still available at patreon.com/Potterless, the digital merch that's at potterlesspodcast.com/merch. And if you're looking to keep up with me, Mike Schubert, and the stuff that I'm doing, I have a website. It's Schubes, so schub.es. It's got all the stuff about all the other podcasts that I'm working on. You can find me on social media at Schubes17, schubes17, on Twitter and Instagram. So that's where you can find the stuff that's going on currently in my podcasting life. But thanks for listening. Thanks for staying subscribed. As always, we're going to be posting stuff to the feed every now and then. So just keep sticking around because live show goodness will get posted. And it's always a fun time. So thank you for listening. And until next time, as they say in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, all of the time, wizard on!